Well, guys, big news from the courtroom today as Diddy's legal team faced off with the prosecutors. His family, including his children, support making for a dramatic scene. The trial date is now officially set for May 5th, 2025. Prosecutor Emily Johnson announced that the prosecution's case will take at least 3 weeks, while the defense attorney expects his case to last around 1 week. Diddy, who has been detained at the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center's Special Housing Unit since his September arrest, will remain incarcerated well. The new judge, who's now presiding over the case after 2 previous judges denied Combs' $50 million bail, made it clear that his detention will continue. Diddy is facing several serious charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. We have a snippet from Law and Crimes channel reporters that provide key courtroom insights, shedding light on the intense atmosphere that you'll see in a series of clips. A new wrinkle emerged as the defense requests a gag order, which prosecutors do not oppose, but insist should also apply equally on both sides. Prosecutor Johnson also pointed out that the previous statement from the defense, where he called the case a takedown of a successful black man, in an interview with TMZ, suggested the government was conducting a racist prosecution. Meanwhile, Combs' legal team accused the government of leaking key evidence, including the controversial 2016 video of Combs assaulting Cassie Ventura. This trial promises to be one of the most talked about cases of 2025 and will be there following every development. Make sure to subscribe for more updates as the story unfolds.
Hi, girls. How's he doing? Okay. All right, you got Ebony with you? Okay.
Any message you want to send your father?
Any message to your father? How's your father?
Have you guys spoken to your father?
Quincy.
Have you spoken to your father?
Take care of those girls, Quincy.
What do you want to say about your father?
Take care of those girls. You guys stay together.
Very own Elizabeth Milner is there. She was inside the courtroom for all the action today. Elizabeth, good to see you. So what were the main takeaways? What happened inside that courtroom? And if you can give us a little flavor of what did you observe from the man himself, Sean Combs?
Yeah, Jesse, it was pretty interesting because I think, we have seen many photos, videos of Sean Combs, a.k.a. Diddy, through the Associated Press, through Instagram. And so to see him kind of in person after being in jail for 3 weeks now was pretty interesting, to say the least. And I say that by being that you would expect him to feel a little defeated, a little gaunt, anything like that. But it wasn't that case. He appeared confident. He stood tall. But most importantly and most notably, when he walked inside the courtroom, the first thing that he looked at was his family. As soon as he saw his family, he just lit up. Another thing to note, too, is he wasn't shackled, but he was wearing a khaki prison-like jumpsuit when he appeared inside court, and his family appeared on their end very just happy to see him. Now, I will say, when I was inside the courtroom, I was a little bit towards the back right side of the gallery, and so for seeing Sean Combs, I had to look through a few heads and stuff like that, but again, he appeared just kind of confident walking inside that courtroom, and it might have just been the look that his family was there. So let me kind of paint a picture for you as well, too. His mother arrived a little bit before 1 p.m. Eastern time today. And then whenever his children actually came into the courtroom or the courthouse actually kind of got silent. It was pretty interesting to see that as well too. So as far as who was sitting by who, you had Janice Combs, who sat by Justin. Then it was followed by Chance, the twins, Jesse and Delilah, Quincy, and then Christian Combs, aka King. And so again, once they all saw their father, they all smiled at him, waved at him. And even when we were all leaving the courthouse today, Diddy just blew kisses at his mother and his family members. They didn't say much of anything. I wasn't outside when they had first entered the courthouse, so I'm not sure if they said anything to the press. Previously, they had been very quiet whenever they had entered the courtroom, so I assume it'll be kind of like that as well too. But it was interesting as well that a lot of the arguments kind of Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. And so as far as what we know now is that we know May 5th is going to be the date, tentatively, that the trial does begin. So we have a lot of stuff that we're expecting to see. But kind of going back to a little bit of the evidence there. Now, I'm looking through this notebook right here, mainly because we're not allowed to have electronic equipment when we're inside that courtroom. So all of this was handwritten notes. So just kind of going over just some of the things that were happening inside that courtroom. You know, I'm sure you have already talked about it there as far as just all the data that prosecutors and now have in connection to the case. So 96 electronic devices were seized across 3 different locations. That included Diddy's Miami home, his LA mansion, as well as all the devices that were seized whenever he went to the airport. Because as we all remember, when the search warrants were happening, he was actually boarding a flight with his twin daughters, including, and I believe Chance was there as well too, his 18-year-old daughter now, when they were, the search warrants were happening and Diddy was caught up at the airport. They did seize different devices that time as well too, and so the data mainly still has to be extracted. Now the government was kind of talking about just some of the devices are a little bit older, so the government in turn is kind of catching up to the technology there. But they say at the airport they seized 9 different devices. 7 of those have been extracted so far. At Miami, 36 different devices were seized. 29 were extracted, and in LA, 51 devices were seized. 24 have been extracted. They say the 8 terabytes of data, that information could come about in the next 2 weeks or so, and they're working on the production, another production of the subpoena returns. And so the defense pretty much didn't object to too much inside the courtroom today. Agnifilo also appeared kind of confident during his arguments. I know a lot of people were kind of expecting for the bail or bond argument to be happening, but that didn't happen, and it appeared that the defense kind of, I'm trying to find the right word here, but they were pretty much complying with all the prosecution's arguments and plan to kind of have everything all good and set to go by May. Now, by the time the end of the year is to happen, I forgot one big turn right here. They did mention that a potential superseding indictment could come. Now, obviously that hasn't happened yet, but the investigation is still ongoing. And so, we don't know a lot of information as far as what that could look like, but it appears that we could expect more charges to come later on, potentially by the end of the year.
That is what we've been echoing a lot, that we wouldn't be surprised if there's a superseding indictment, and I don't know. I don't think that May date is going to stick if he's hit with additional charges. That's just my guess. Elizabeth Milner, thank you so much. Great reporting, and happy you got a chance to be in that courtroom and also lay out the scene for us as well. Really appreciate it. Thanks. Good seeing you.
Thanks, Jesse.
All right.
Yes. I could never remember what I said. How's he doing? He's doing fine. Dr. King called it the law of unintended consequences. Sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get. And so he's making an adjustment. He had his family here today to support him. We really want to put an end to all of the clowning that we see on the internet. These are serious proceedings, serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly.
Anthony, is it a racist proceeding, as Marcus said?
Nobody's okay with staying in jail for that. Okay,
Anthony,
thank you
is
very
this a
much.
racist
That's it for
proceeding,
today.
as Mark has said? Do you continue to believe that?
Thanks for all for waiting. I'm really not going to make much of a statement. As you know, I made a request for the judge to issue what we call the gag order, and the judge is going to issue it on a reciprocal basis. So I'm not going to say anything that I didn't say in my papers and in court. We submitted a motion, written motion, last night. That states our position. I'm not going to say anything in addition to it, but I didn't want to leave all you guys hanging, you know, and I wanted to say at least that I wasn't going to say anything. So that's all I'm going to say and not say. Thank you all. I hope that gives you what you need, but I'm not going to say anything that I haven't said to court and that I haven't said in my court papers. So you all have a nice day, and thank you very much.
How is he doing? How is he doing?
Monster. I saw your bullshit motion. It's full of social media. It's bullshit. Fugazi. I saw your whole motion. You put it together with ChatGPT. Your client is a monster and a predator. We're going to keep our foot on his neck. He's never getting out of prison. Tell him Gilmore said that.
Lisa, give this to Dan. Lisa, give this to Dan. And I need a card back. I don't have anything in my camera right now.